The title of our project is ISub, Localization Workflows That Work. As you can see, you can read it in many different ways because it has, many different layers. You see many logos here, so many people, institutions, and companies are involved in this project. So I will go straight to the content. I will talk about the genesis and the concepts behind ISub, and I will introduce our industry partners and the technologies involved applied to audiovisual translation, mainly cloud subtitling, ASR, and MT. I will explain them in a second. And then Annalisa will explain the project in particular, in detail, goals, design, and much, much more. And then we will talk about what we're doing next, because we've actually started and our participants are working right now as we speak. Okay, so the genesis and concepts. So we go back to 2019 when the world looked very different. We were in Stockholm. Elena was there as well with Annalisa and me. And I was there to present my impact study on cloud subtitling for the first time. And the partnership I have with UNA, I will talk about them in a second. And we were starting to develop an educational platform. So we were there, very happy afterwards, having a drink and discussing things for the future. And Annalisa came to me and she said, "Why don't we do something together?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And we started talking, and then we came up with this idea about testing workflows with different technologies and how, what kind of quality we could reach and the efficiency and so on. And that's how we actually started. So the project is kindly funded by UNINT University Research Fund. And thanks to the efforts of Annalisa, who is the coordinator of our project, along with Lorenzo Bolini, Fiorenza Mileto, Claudio Russello, and some of them are here today with us, and myself, the international institution from Roehampton University in the UK. So the timeline was originally conceived as a one-year project in 2020, but as you know, we had a little bit of a problem with the pandemic, so we had to postpone it and also rethink the whole project, which was intended to be delivered partly face-to-face and partly remotely. We had to redesign it in a way to be carried out entirely online. But we were very lucky in this sense because the technology we devised for the project was perfect for the switch. The language pairs involved are English into Italian and Spanish into Italian. As you can see, it's a pilot study. We want to understand how things can go, and then we will probably have a follow-up. So let's introduce our partners. The first one is UNA. You might have heard of this platform. They are providing cloud subtitling technology. Just to briefly explain, they have a system which is web-based as opposed to desktop-based. So everything you perform is performed online, and it's like the web is the computer in this sense. And you can edit, you can caption, translate, review, and quality check, so QC, a subtitling project entirely online. I will show you how it looks and what it does.
Modern translation and subtitling workflows are multifaceted, consisting of a sequence of related tasks, often formed by different individuals remotely. UNA's toolkit provides instant access to a suite of simple-to-use specialist tools for these tasks and is completely web-based. As the tools are designed to perform just the task you require, they're not weighted by redundant functionality, and so they're incredibly easy to use. The toolkit requires no setup time, which simply means that you can start the job immediately. Just fire up your browser and get the job done anywhere, achieving the time and cost efficiency required to offer a truly competitive service. All the tools you expect for caption and subtitle creation are in one place. With UNA's toolkit, you'll deliver your captions and subtitles online, on time.
Okay, so our second partner is Caption Hub. This may not be very well known, maybe in the academia, because they don't provide public access to their tool. They work mainly with companies. But we are using their technology, specifically automatic speech recognition and auto caption. As part of my research project, they're giving us a chance to use it. Automatic speech recognition, we've talked about this today in many presentations, is basically the possibility to transform original speech, in this case from video, into written text, so a script or a dialogue, which can be used to create intralingual subtitles or master templates with time codes. And that's what we're doing exactly for our project. The ASR I've selected for the project is speech matics, but Caption Hub has many different kinds of these systems. I will show you a video to show you what's Caption Hub. Okay, I'll stop here because you have a general picture of what it is. And now I will introduce the third and very important partner we have, SubT. SubT is an international company founded in London in 2002, specialized in film festival subtitling and access services. They kindly provided the audiovisual materials for our project and the scripts. They also work on live subtitling as well and respeaking to, be in tune with the other presentations. And we thank them so much for their videos. And the last partner we have is Massidda. They provided the machine translation system applied to AVT, audiovisual translation. And Massidda is actually a research project. So we use the beta version of their system, and we will probably contribute somehow to their studies as well. They're using a neural machine translation founded on deep learning in neural networks. And its application to interlingual subtitling has been investigated quite a lot just recently. And in terms of efficiency and quality applied to subtitling projects, and also trying to analyze the role of post-editing, which is rather controversial still in audiovisual translation. Now I will leave the floor to Annalisa to talk about the goals, design, and more about our project.
Thank you. Sorry, if you, okay, so shall I just share mine then, just quickly? Yeah. Here we go. Sorry, I'll go back here. Yeah, right, so the objectives. The main objective, as Serenella has already hinted, is the fact that we want to compare the efficiency of different workflows in cloud subtitling. And the idea is that we want to try and determine the most effective one in terms of the quality that can be achieved within turnaround time. So we're going to compare 3 different ways of working on the same videos. I have to stress this is a pilot study. So our subjects are recent graduates and students. Some of them have a bit more professional experience than others, and some of them are still attending their MA course. The 3 workflows we are comparing is the first one, I call it the standard subtitling workflow, which means that we only provide to the team of subtitlers the video and the dialogue list. And they have to carry out all operations as they normally would. So they have to spot the video manually. Spotting means they have to establish when the subtitle is supposed to appear and when it is supposed to disappear from the screen. So they have to do it manually by using the software that Serenella showed you, the UNA platform. The second workflow, they work on the same portion of the video, but they are also provided with the source language subtitles that have been created by using Caption Hub. So they have been spotted automatically and transcribed automatically, which means, of course, that there might be errors in them. So the first thing they need to do is revise them and check them and correct any mistakes. Then the third workflow is even more automated because they are provided with the same source language template I mentioned, but they're also allowed to use an MT tool, which is ISub, the third tool that Serenella showed you. And of course, again, there might be mistakes in the machine translation output, so they have to post-edit machine translation output as well. So the students, 12 per language pair, have been organized into 3 teams, 4 people each. All of them work according to the 3 workflows. So all of them will experience all 3 workflows, but in a different order. And they are going to be working on 3 different video clips per language pair. Each clip lasts about 10 minutes. This is just to show you the timeline, and we are currently in week 4 of the project, which means that they are working, as you can see, Group A is working on workflow 1, the standard one. Group B is working with the automatically spotted subtitles, and Group C is also using machine translation. So obviously I'm not going to be able to give you any results. I'm just showing you what we are doing and using what tools. Then the following week, each group will work with a different workflow, and we're going to finish the whole experiment by the end of May. The films we're going to be using, as Serenella said, were provided by us by SubT, that provided the official subtitles, and by official I mean the subtitles that were shown to the audience during the Cinema Ambiente Film Festival in Turin in 2019. There are 2 documentaries. The reason why we chose documentaries is that they are potentially better suited to both automatic speech recognition and machine translation because of the kind of language that features in them, and because there's fewer instances of overlapping voices as you normally find in films or TV series. And the official subtitles that were provided to us are going to be used as a kind of benchmark. We're going to compare the output of the 3 workflows with the subtitles provided by the company. Before the experiment, we gave all the participants a questionnaire. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's just to show you that we wanted to find out as much information as possible about their language background, certifications, any time spent abroad, their qualifications, their specific AVT, audiovisual translation training and experience, either professional or semi-professional, as a fan subber, for example. According to the results of the questionnaires, and also on the basis of our own knowledge of these former students, because we know them personally, obviously, we were able to assign roles within each subtitling team. So each team has a project manager, there is a spotter, a translator, and the reviser who carries out quality control. Just to give you some information about the subjects, as you can see, the group of English subjects is a bit more experienced and a bit older as well. They have an average age of 27 as opposed to 24 years of age. In the Spanish group, over 50% of them has professional translation experience as opposed to 17% in the Spanish group. But they have roughly the similar levels of experience in audiovisual translation, which means that the Spanish students may not have a lot of professional translation experience, but they have either written a thesis on audiovisual translation, or they have carried out a traineeship, or other kinds of non-professional or semi-professional experience. Most of our subjects are girls, but this gender bias reflects industry patterns because there's a vast majority of girls in the translation industry at the minute, and don't ask me why, because I'm not sure. So as Serenella said, we had to redesign the whole project and think of how we could deliver it entirely remotely. So we had to use quite a lot of different tools because there is no single platform that incorporates all the features that we needed. You saw all of them before, just quickly, just to remind you. So Caption Hub to produce the source language transcripts and automatic spotting, ISub to use a machine translation, Una with the Create Pro and Translate Pro applications to carry out the actual subtitling, OCam to record the subjects' screens, because each of them is working remotely in their own homes. We have asked them to download this software and record their subjects, their computer screen when they're working, so we can see what they're actually doing, what resources they're using, what tools they're using, they're consulting, etc. Then we have also developed, and I'll show you them in a minute, logbooks and quality assurance forms in Microsoft Excel. And we've also used Google modules for the pre and post-experiment questionnaires. And finally, a Google Classroom, which is a virtual learning environment to distribute all the resources and organize the workflows with reference materials, such as the subtitling conventions they have to apply when translating, the post-editing guidelines to show them how they are meant to post-edit the machine translation output, the quality assessment forms, logbooks, the timeline deadlines, and various instructions. So this is the logbook. I don't know how much you can see, but it's just to show you roughly what this is. Basically, each member of each team has to enter details of any work session that they carry out during the week. They have to record their role within the team, the workflow they belong to, they're working on, the start of the session, end of the session, duration of the session, any resources they used, any comments, any language problems they encountered or technical problems they encountered, and what solution they were able to find. So we are hoping to cross-reference the logbook with the recordings of the screens to see what actually went wrong when something goes wrong, or how they managed to solve a specific technical problem. Then the quality assurance form that is filled in by the reviser at the end of each workflow contains both a quality control part on language issues and a quality control part on technical issues, including the correct timing, the correct spotting of the subtitles, the fact that they need to abide by the subtitling conventions, the reading speed, the length of the subtitles, etc., etc. Again, we haven't got time to explore all of these items in detail, but it's just to show you what we are asking our revisers to fill in. And they also ask to provide details of the most serious errors they encounter in the translation before they submit it, so that we are able to see what kind of errors are the most frequent ones and what solutions are found by the team, the subtitling team, at the very end. And just to show you what screen recordings look like, there's just a clip of one of them, and I think you don't need to hear the audio for this. It's just to show you what happens on one of the subjects' screens. You can see here, she, on the right hand side, she's typing the translation of the English audio and of the English subtitle, and you will see what happens in a moment when she realizes that her suggested translation is too long. You will see that the text turns red because the Translate Pro is telling the translator that this exceeds the space limit, and therefore she decides to correct it, goes back and deletes part of it.
Technology is evolving so much faster than our society has the ability to improve.
There you go. It's just a snippet, just to show you the kind of information that we will be able to extract from the recordings when cross-referenced with the various forms, and also with the various versions of the translation, because we are asking all of the team to save all the various versions of the translation. So the first draft, the second draft after corrections, the final draft, and so on. And so we'll be able to highlight any corrections that they make. So the data collection, as you can see, we are collecting different kinds of data through the questionnaire to find out existing skills and experience, subjects' expectations and perceptions of the project, and most importantly, their performance self-evaluation at the end of the task, how they think it went. The screen recordings, the logbooks, the Q&A forms, and of course the subtitles in various versions with the corrections highlighted with track changes, and the target language subtitles as well. So we have a wealth of possibilities because we're collecting so much data. We are going to try and determine the impact of automatic speech recognition and machine translation on these subtitling workflows. And we are going to try and analyze both the process and the product. The product is our key aim, obviously, but hopefully we are going to be able to say something about the process as well by comparing the various versions submitted by each subtitling team, and by triangulating data with screen recordings and subject information and logbooks. Then we're going to compare the final outputs of the target language subtitles produced in the 3 workflows by each group, but we're also going to compare those final outputs with the professional subtitles provided by the company to see which workflow comes close to what could be defined as the benchmark of professional quality expected in professional circles. And of course, as I said, we're right in the middle of data collection, so we haven't got any results to show you now, but we will be presenting preliminary results at the forthcoming Languages and the Media Riding the Wave 13th International Conference in Berlin in September.